Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board me. Today I'm going to be talking about a specific designer, and I don't talk about designers too often, but I wanted to talk about this guy today because I was thinking about him because he came out with another game, it was in the news that he was coming out with another game, and I'm just thinking, wow, this guy just comes out with a lot of games, and he's really well known for one series of games, but he does so much more than that. And that designer is Scott Almes. And you might know him mostly from the Tiny Epic game series. He makes these uh, games that should be in bigger boxes, and they condense them down into like a little tiny box. And they're really well known series. A lot of people really like those games. I myself, I'm a fan of some of those games. I'm not a fan of the model of how they make those games because I'm a big guy and I don't want to play with these tiny little pieces. I just wish they would come out in the big box versions that they probably should be in. But that's the gimmick of Tiny Epic Games. But he's like the main designer of that series of games. And he's really well known for that. But he makes so much more than that. And he's so versatile. He makes games from all these different types of genres. And maybe he gets a little bit overlooked because everybody thinks of him as the Tiny Epic series guy. Some of his other games, I mean, he really does a lot of solo games. He did some of the, what is it called? The Solo Hero series, I think it's called, for Renegade. He did Reckland's Run and Warp's Edge, which are pretty popular. He came out with So You've Been Eaten, which was a game that I wasn't really a big fan of, but it was like a 1, 2, or 0 player game. You were able to, because it was a 2-player like asymmetric game, you're this person's this side and the other person's this side. You could play a 0-person game and just set like the computers against each other. Interesting idea. It didn't really work for me though. But very interesting idea. He goes out on a limb, makes all these different types of games. He made a huge game, really different from the Tiny Epic series. He made Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which is this big 4X game, giant board, big miniatures, big beefy box. Yeah, so he got his Tiny Epic games, and then he's got this Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which is huge. Can't even like sit on my shelf. And he's come out with so many expansions for it and stuff. He's made roll and write games. He's made Boomerang, a really good sort of drafting and roll and write game, or draft and write, I guess, which is a really good game. He's come out with a bunch of little small card games. He made Claim, which is a 2-player trick-taking game, a ton of expansions for that. And why I was thinking about him today was because they just announced they're going to make a cooperative Claim. So I'm really excited about that. I really like Claim quite a bit. He's worked with Button Shy quite a bit over the years, making these tiny little wallet-sized games. Button Shy makes these wallet-sized games. Scott Almes has made quite a few games, or I don't know quite a few, but he's made several games for them, including Food Chain Island, which is really good, Fishing Lessons, which is okay. He's made regular box games. I got one right down there. You can barely see it. Cosmic Colonies, a really underrated, like, sort of drafting game, but you're placing polyominoes on this board trying to cover up things. Really interesting game. He just came out with Beer and Bread, which got a lot of buzz going. And it just seems like he might be the most versatile designer in board gaming, because you just don't know what he's going to come out with next. It seems like he takes out a pair of dice, rolls it, and that's the game that he's going to try and make. And like I said, I like some of his games, I don't like some of his other games, but I like quite a few of his games. And I've got to give it to the guy who just tries and goes out from his normal stuff and makes these different games. I don't even know if he's got normal stuff, actually. I mean, other than the Tiny Epic series, I suppose. But he just goes out and just does everything. A whole different slew of things. Lots of different genres. Different types of games. Different styles. It's not like... So, like, my favorite designer, Bruno Catala. I play a Bruno Catala game, and I'm like, yeah, that feels like a Bruno Catala game. I don't feel like there's a game that I play, and I'm like, yeah, that's a Scott Almes game. I feel like he just has such a wide plethora of ideas that he tries to go with. And maybe some games don't work, maybe some games do work, but he just tries everything. And I got a lot of respect for that, just go out and try to do it, have a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I mean, I don't think about Scott Almes a lot, but he makes a ton of games. If you go on BGG, he's just got pages and pages and pages of different stuff, and a lot of it are expansions for the games. If he comes out with a game, there's more than likely going to be an expansion or 10 to those different games. Yeah, so that's just like a deep take about Scott Almes, I guess. I wasn't planning on making this video, but it just came up and I was thinking about it today, so I decided to make it. Make sure to leave some comments down below on maybe your favorite Scott Almes game, or maybe a designer that you think is a little bit more versatile that makes just a wide range of games like Scott Almes does. But either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.